Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Okay, it's connected. Good. So everything is being recorded. Um, feel free to turn on your video camera and also like to turn on your audio to talk, right? Because I want us to have more to and fro communications as we are going, right? So yeah. Um, Yeah, so I was talking about the layout, and now you see that Maria joined us. You see that it is now 6, 3 at the top, and then 3 below, right? We could for a start go to dribble.com again. Let me just share my whole window. I think this is fine. So we'll go to, if you can see my screen, I'm currently sharing, and we'll go to dribble.com. Just see the, you normally see like mock-up of a website here, and I think I've introduced this website to you guys before. So let's just find a good example of a website layout, and we just see how it's laid out, right? And we can even open like very complex ones, so we can look at things basically there. And I don't have my tablet around, so but we'll see, that shouldn't be a problem. So now I've opened 3 of them, and these are different ones. Like they look totally different from each other. So this is a good, it's a good comparison for us. So say we want to design this website, right? And we want to design, or you want to design this website, or you want to design this one here. It all boils down to like your layout, how you lay things out, right? That's what is going to help you out to do to actually like have your websites come out pretty nicely, right? This one is very simple, and even though you kind of look at it and like the colors and all is making it look complex, but it's very simple. And this one too is very simple, nice color choice, but it's very simple too. But so if you look at this one now, it looks like this our GC meeting where you have 6 people, 3 at the top and 3 below, and then it has like custom random border radiuses, and that's it. That's how simple it is. So if you're able to always like see any website and be able to like just transform it in your eyes to like simple CSS layout, it will help you to actually like be a very good web developer or designer basically. So what we're going to do is that we're going to like take a screenshot of this and split them into layout, like make like lines into a kind of layouts they are. So I'm going to screenshot this, and then we can edit it. Yeah. So okay, I'm not sharing my whole screen, so I probably need to share my whole screen for that. So stop sharing, and share now. Oh yeah, share your screen, entire screen, and yeah, it's perfect. So if I should find that screenshot that I just did now, and this is basically on my system. Let me pull it up. So if I get here on my desktop, the screenshot should be here somewhere, and we have this, right? So if we open this out, we can try to imagine what this would be in our CSS, like the parts that make this up. So first thing you see is that we have a nav element, or you can imagine we have a nav element, or even before we even talk about elements, let's just draw lines that demarcate regions from each other, right? So I will click on to do a markup here, and let me pick up this, and probably, yeah, let's use this. So first thing first is that you see this nav bar here, right? Right? You can visually distinguish this nav bar from everything, right? And then But even before the nav bar, even before the nav bar, there's the whole UI, that you see here, right? Let's assume that this is the body, right? And then let's add another one for the nav bar now. Probably change the color to something like something like pink, right? Or even though pink is not really a good thing to use here because here is already pink. Let's change it to something else. Yeah. So we use this blue here and we'll fit out our nav bar, right? And then the second part you see here, let's pick a different color and add another one. No, give me, yeah. So this one here is now the other part of the website after the nav bar, right? Which is where you have this bubble thing, and then inside it particularly, you have two sections. One section for the image of the cake, right? And then one section for the text itself, right? Oh, I keep making poor choices when it comes to picking colors today. So you can see, don't rotate, Command Z, yeah? Okay. And finally, oh no. And finally, the image one, right? The text one, sorry, right? Is this. And just being able to do this thing that we just did now, being able to like differentiate the region of the website, we have just finished the whole website. It's easy to build. You can build this like instantly, right? So let's say we can actually try this out and see by ourselves. So let's say I'm going to go to Code Sandbox and try to make this website, right? And you are going to see how I'm going to translate all this to design, right? So we go to Code Sandbox. A new template, and let's name this intro to layout, right? And we have our body, right? And I'm going to just remove this, and I'm also going to add our style.css, right? So our style.css is fine, and we can save this HTML to make sure that nothing is here, and we only have our body. And in our design, our body is demarcated, is the black line that covers everything. And we can, let me turn up the brightness, and we can see that it has like a background of light gray, so we can just like add that only to our body in this style and say, but before then, let's make everything to be box sizing. This is before. So we're going to do border box sizing, border box. So we make everything border box, and then this is fine. And then we can make our body to have a background color, of light gray. I think that's will look good. Hopefully, shouldn't be much of a change because it probably looks alike with white background. But then we go back to our design, right? And we see at the top we have a nav bar, right? Inside the body, like one of the children in the body is the nav bar. And in the nav bar, you can see there are two different parts in the nav bar, right? Let's use a rounded thing for this. So which is this logo part, right? The logo part here, and then Command CV, and then another one, which is this whole element that represents, not all of them actually, but these particular ones that are the nav items, right? Um, I think we can extrapolate them to this one, but if you want, you can also like make this one to stand out. So let's do that. So let's get another of these and come on, come on. Okay. So we have these three items as elements, like the different elements in our nav. And today I'm going to introduce Flexbox to you, which is one of the popular uh, CSS module for layout. The other one is Grid. They are modern and they are very, very nice and makes your life a lot easier, right? So, but I promise you guys that I'm always going to teach you based on need. That's why I don't want to teach you Flexbox on the abstract, but teaching you Flexbox by applying it to something, right? And do you guys have any question or anything to say? Just feel free to unmute yourself and let me know. Okay. So we keep going, and so on the first part, which is the nav, right? We create a nav element, right? And inside this nav element, the first item there, let's take that to be a H3. And that H3 says Anika's gelato, right? So let's try that. Oh, here we say Anita's. This is how they spell it. Gelato. And the second element, so we've represented this red one here. This one we have represented it. So we can even just make it gray to say it's gone. Then this one now have it's a list of elements, but the list is horizontal, right? But there are lists nonetheless, right? There are lists of links that you can take you to that place, for example, right? So we go to our page, and how do we represent list? We have another list or other list, so we can use that to represent the list items there, and we have the list items, right? So if we should go back to the, yeah, let me just close all these things out. Oh, wrong thing. Yeah, bomb back. Yeah. So now we have about us, products, delivery, news, and contact us. Hopefully, I can remember those. Oh shit, just forgot it really immediately. About us, and then we have product, probably contact us. Is it contact? Products, delivery, and then news and contact us, right? Yeah, and then that's it. Let's keep saving this as we're doing it, so we see how it looks. So if you look at this right now, when you just see HTML, it doesn't look so good, right? Anyways, we can also like make this into links because these are going to refer to other place. But I think it's probably better that it's good that we make it a link right now. But I don't know. So let me do that. Let me do that just to make sure I have everything done well. So this is just going to be slash. I'm not going to put this asterisk here, this hash, which is supposed to mean that it goes somewhere within the element, but not out. And we're going to do that. And this is supposed to be about us, I hope. And we can do the same for this and replace this with this. We don't have a link where it goes. And I'll do that for these two. Yeah, so now we've made all of them into a link, and even looks more ugly now, but just wait for it. So we've been able to add our list here. We don't care about design yet. We're just trying to lay out our thing out there, right? And then after that, we have this last icon here, and we'll skip learning how to add icon because that's a thing on itself. But we're just going to have some kind of just a division, just like hold those two icons together. So we're just going to like add a span to represent those. One is the cart, and then I think I can replace this with emoji. I'm not sure how to toggle emoji anymore on MacBooks. Aha. How do you do this anymore? Yeah. How do you type emojis? Okay. So I can try this. Let me find the cat. Can use the cat here. Oh, come on. Didn't I search in English? Yeah, I searched in English. Shop. Shopping bags. Oh, come on. How hard could this be? Anyway, just show me all the emojis, things, objects. And we can take anything here really just to do this. So let's take the shopping bag one. And we can just put it there to use as our icon. So put the shopping bag, and we can also put the person, right? I'm not sure what a person would look like, but let's use a man, for example. I think there should be just a man. Yeah, I think these are complex ones. Can I copy any of these? I'm not sure this is an emoji though. Yeah, let's just copy this one. Person in tuxedo. Not really a great example, but yeah. Let's continue. When we save this, we see that the line out here, and they're actually on the same line because two of them are span, and span are inline elements that are laid in the same line with each other. And then, and that's all for the top part, right? So we go back again, knowing fully well that we've done all the part that is covered in the green part, we've done it. And then now we go down into this one bordered by the cyan color, right? Which is the one that have the pink background, right? So we try to fold this nav, and we'll have a section, right? And this section, maybe we'll give it an ID of a main, or maybe let's call it main. Let's use the main tag for it. That makes more sense. And then in this main tag, we divided it into two sides. The part that has the image of the cupcake, and the part that has the text, right? So let's do that. So we have a section, just using section here, and probably give it a class of a image container, right? And then we'll put an image tag here. We don't have the source yet, but we'll add it soon, and this should be cake, maybe cupcake, right? And then the second section here in the main would be the test container, just so that both of them have like a kind of similar name, right? So we do this, and inside here we just put, say, a H3 again, right? And the H3 that was here says fresh and juicy taste, right? So we can do fresh and juicy taste, right? And then let's just find some image of cupcake on the internet. So let's do cupcake and say pink cupcake. And you can easily steal something similar from here. Let me look at that image again. What are we looking for? There is like chocolate on it. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Apparently, it's everywhere on the internet, but the problem is, it is I think the image has this what do you call them? Yeah, this kind of signs on it. Forgotten what the third name is for it, but anyways, a watermark. Yes, watermark. Perfect. So I'll just copy the image address so I don't have to bring the image into Code Sandbox. And yeah, and I'll just put the source here, and we save this, and it's going to fill the whole page, typical. And then if we go back to our design, you see that we are done with the website. The website is done, right? We have everything we need. The image is there. It's not the perfect image as the one we see in the design, and the text is there. Everything is there. So when you've laid everything out, then you can now start designing it as you want in your CSS, right? And then in the CSS, we know that this now, for example, lays things in line, like everything is laid out like in line with each other, right? Which is where Flexbox shines very well, and being able to add everything in like different columns on the same line, right? So what we would do is that we say this nav should be displayed flex, right? So it means that all the items inside it will be displayed in line flex with each other. I saved this and it still looks the same. Nav, is this thing saved? Aha. Okay, this is perf. No, this is not perfect. So let's open this in a new window and inspect the CSS and know why it's not behaving as it should. So this is, okay, it's not yet displayed flex, so this style doesn't affect it yet. Why doesn't this style affect it? Display flex. No, don't save, just refresh. We said display flex, no? Aha. I'm not sure why the styles are not affecting it anymore, though. Oh, the same thing that happens to us every freaking day. We didn't link the CSS at the top. So yeah, this always happens to me every time. So we can save this, right? Hope all of you are still here and paying attention. Remember to let me know if you have any question. So we'll go back. And then when we link the CSS, immediately you see that this thing that was here just lined just below each other, right? That all of them are now in the same line, right? On the same horizontal axis. So and then we can do more, right? Now the nav is displayed flex, so it means it lined everything on the same line.
I found this on the web.
And we can also do the same for the UL. We want the UL not to line things like one after the other, like below each other, but also on the same line too. So we can say UL display flex. And this also means, right, that that we can use compound selectors. If you remember, I taught you compound selectors. It means that if you have styles that have the same things, right, the same style, you want to apply the same style to like a list of selectors or elements, you can group them up by comma, right? So we can easily go here and say UL display flex and remove this one here, right? So this is how you use compact selectors, and this style applies to it. And then the things that are specific to the UL, we can separate them out and style them, right? So First thing we want to do is that we want to remove those dots that you have in bullet points. So we say leave style is none, and it will remove those things, right? Um, and we want to put a gap between the elements of the links, right? So we put like a gap between them, make this look one rem and see if it looks good. Doesn't look very bad, right? Also for the nav, we want the nav to be in such a way that the logo, which is Anita's Gelato, will be at this top left. Sorry, top, yeah, left, and then the menus will be in between, and then the icons for the shopping and the profile would be at the other end, top right, right? So how we can do that is that we can say I think we can do justify content, and then we can say space between to do this, right? And then when we do this space between, you see all of a sudden that there's now space between here and space between here. So if we go to the full website, right? If we refresh this, we'll see that there's now space between both of them, right? And maybe we can reduce the size of this website so it doesn't look ugly at the full one. But yeah, this looks okay for the simple demo, right? Are you guys following this? Is it too fast? What do you think?
We are following.
You're following, okay? Do you like the pace?
Yeah, yeah, it's okay. For me, I don't know. For others, I'm
Any
cool.
other person? Okay, I need more interaction. Say something. How is it?
But I have a question too.
Okay, yes, please.
The style, I know you've explained it before. If you could just like throw a little more light on it. That there's this before and after you did for the first thing you did.
Okay, the before and after, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, last time I talked to you about pseudo elements and also pseudo classes, right?
Yeah.
And after and before a type of pseudo element, right? Pseudo elements in the sense that you don't specify them in your HTML, but they are part of every element, right? And they are not there until you decide to target them and style them and bring them out, right? So that's why they call them
Okay.
pseudo, right? Because they are not really elements, but they could become an element if you choose to make them an element, make them become an element. So the style I did here, you remember that this asterisk is universal selector. It means
Yeah.
it affects everything on the page,
Yes.
right? So I target everything universally, and then also target every the after pseudo elements on everything and before pseudo elements on everything, and then apply this style to them.
Okay.
Yeah. I would also show more example of the pseudo elements later on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, good. Okay. Let's keep running. What's the time? Oh, there we have 18 more minutes left. Let me see how much time was scheduled for this class. Oh, so 30, 1 hour 30 minutes. So we'll have time. We'll have time. We'll have good time. Hmm. Okay, let's go back to this. So, and I think that designing this on this part is making us like not see how ugly the website really looks. But yeah, it's fine anyways. And for the I think for the UL, I would also want to space things more. Uh, let's put more space between the UL elements. Let's try 2 rems. And why doesn't it affect them? Okay, it did affect them. Let me see. Yeah. So yeah, this is fine. This is fine. And if we want, we can reduce the width of the body to the whole page to make them just more concise. And then So far, our nav bar is looking awesome so far. Not like looking super awesome, but let's put the border that we had when we were designing when we were marking out the layout. So let's do 2 pixels cyan solid, right? And you see that this is the same thing we are styling, right? The green portion. Let me change this to green. Uh, So this green portion is what we are styling, and we've laid everything out, right? And now in this, because these things have display flags, it's easy for us to like center them horizontally or vertically, and also and also center them even both at the same time, right? So if you look at these logos here, these icons here, they are at the top end part. So we can make them all line up quite nicely, and we could go to the can even do it here because we can run this to work for all of them, and we would say align items to center them vertically, right? We say center, and this now looks good, and we can put a little bit of padding in the nav so that the items doesn't actually like go like touch the border basically, or but I think without the border it doesn't actually look bad. So if I remove this doesn't actually look bad, right? I would also want to like remove like a automatic margin and the padding on things that CSS does. So I will remove this, and now this is what we have, and then okay, I can style it the way I want, right? So for the nav bar, I would want it to have like a padding of we have 10 pixel at the top, and then let's do preview width on the sides. I can also like probably move this to make this 1 rem, so it increases with our font size, and 1.5. Good. And 3 view width, remember view width? It's a relative unit that's relative to the width. And then this looks good. The padding looks good so far, and I think everything looks good so far. And then we can decide to style things individually or just move down to place things at the right places. Then we'll now go again and make sure that colors are okay. So let's just focus on layouts currently, right? So our nav bar looks close to what we have. Let me remove this thing here. Remove the background. Yeah. So now we can go down to the main and also make a display flex. Because if you remember, we have fresh and juicy taste and also the image, and they have to be side by side. And Flexbox is very good for that. So we can make it flex for side by side. But what I also want to let you know is that even though you can use Flexbox to put things side by side, you can also make things stack up, right? So if this Flexbox here, that I come here and say that flex direction column, I would change the direction again. You see that they are now stacked upon each other, but you will also see that the align item center thing is still working on it. So things are still aligned center, even though you made them to be stacked up in the column side, to be stacked up. So that is very, very good. So when you can align things however you want it, but still get the freedom to be able to center them or position them easily, right? So let's remove that since we don't need it. But I just wanted to like let you know that. So, and Flexbox has very, very many cool things about it, which is actually like being able to specify how much an item can take and all. We would see that. Well, let's just keep building on these simpler ones that we would normally use day to day. So we go down to the main, to start the main, and the main portion, if you remember from our design, our markup is here, is this cyan part, right? That have 2 red components inside it. So let's take we are inside the main, in our HTML, we have, after the nav, we have a main that have two sections, right? So first, we say that the main is a displayed flex, right? I would have put it here inside inside these compound selectors, right? But I'm not sure we want this align item to affect it, so I'll just do it by the side. And if they look alike, I will refactor it and move it up there, right? So I display it, I make it display flags, and you see all of a sudden that this fresh gist state comes up here, and this in the by the side of the image, which is what we wanted, right? And if we look, I don't think there was okay. Then the background color, this has a background color. I can type this with BGC background color. We can change this to hot pink. I'm not sure how this would look. Too much. Can we do just pink? Ha. Not as terrible as I thought. And now this image is looking very, very horrible. But what can we do? I wish I could find a cupcake that is transparent, because this one with the background doesn't really look so good with our design. So let's try looking for another cupcake. Cupcake, pink, and images. Let's see if you can find those. A single one. Can we have it on a clear background? Cupcake, because I don't want to ink cupcake on transparent background. Yes, perfect. And we didn't have exactly what we need. This one, for example, is exactly what we needed. So we'll just copy this link here and use it here and replace this. This is actually easier, so we don't have to do any more work to make this work. So remove this. Perfecto. So it sits nicely and cool. And also what we can do is to make everything look fine is to make the body 100, make the width to be just 100% of the container, which it already is, just to be sure, but also make the height 100 view height. And we can also do, we can even display the body flex so that we can make this main take the whole portion of the height that is remaining. Like if you go here and refresh this part, you see that there's the pink side, but this whole space is still light gray. That's the color of the whole body background. But it would be nice if this whole main could just go down all the way as it did in the design. If you look at it here, the pink is actually like all the way down, right? So even though I think our pink is actually like a lot more shouty than theirs, but we'll go with it just because this is a proof of concept, not to just make everything look exactly right. So to do this, to be able to achieve the thing, to make this, to make the main part, that's the pink background, take the whole remaining width after the nav bar, Flexbox would be a good fit for that. So all we just need to do is say, since this body is taking all the height of the screen that is present, all we just need to do is say that the main, if the body is displayed flex, because we can only do this if the parent is flex, right? But if you display the body flex, it will scatter everything. So if we save this now, you see that everything is now ruined. This is where flex direction column would now make everything perfect again, right? So we go back because it now put everything on the column, right? And then we can now say that the main will take up the remaining part. So we're going to say there are many part in there are many specification in the flex, but I will do this and then trying to translate this in a moment. Uh, and and you see now that the whole width has not taken this whole 100%. If we refresh this here, you'll see that it is now it has not taken the whole remaining thing, and you will see that this is always true even when we try to resize this browser. Oh, come on, Mark, what is wrong with you? So even if you resize the browser, it's still always going to take up that the whole remaining width down, but it doesn't encroach on the portion of the nav side, right? So if we should inspect what happened, the rule that we set on the main, if you look at this flex is a compound property. That means like you set like a lot of values at the same time. Just like when you have padding, for example, you can set padding by just one value, right? And you have padding 10 pixel, right? But then if you click on this tiny arrow here, you see that it's actually like expanding to other properties. You see that it's setting padding top to 10 pixel and padding right, bottom, and left at the same time, right? The same thing happens when you set this flex. So this flex is shorthand for setting flex grow, flex shrink, and flex basis, right? So the flex grow is saying that when this part is when the whole width of the parent is shrinking or growing, that this is the rate that you want this to grow, right? And then, so let's say I'm going to show an example of that in a moment. So let's say I say the basis of this is 400 pixel. 400 pixel, let's see a lot. Can I do it? Yeah, this is fine. No, let's leave that 200 pixel anyways. It doesn't even matter. And then we now say, okay, this thing should grow by 0.5, right? So what you see is that it doesn't take the whole space again. It now takes some proportion of the space, right? If we should increase how much this takes, say 6, 0.6, 0.7, you see that it's not determining how much it takes. And this also works even when we try to resize it. So if we're resizing this, it's always taking that ratio, right? Until it reaches to the part where that 200 pixel, then it has to take at least 200 pixel, which is what this basis says. Basis says that this is the least width I would take, right? So when you give it 1, it means take a one fraction of the whole space remaining, like grow in one fraction, right? So this actually makes sense if, for example, we had said that nav should also have a flex grow of 1. So it also means that both of them will grow by the unit of 1, right? And then the only thing saving our guy is that we had a basis here that sets it to 200. So that's the 200 that we see above here, and then it cannot grow that 1%. So, but yeah, I'm rambling by far, but yeah, I'll make this make sense. Let's just focus on getting this to work, and then we'll explain why it's working. Yeah. So, and why the second one here is flex shrink. It means that when this website, when it is shrinking in height, it should also shrink by that same ratio, by that 1 ratio. Yeah, these numbers here are ratio, they're not in percentage, they're in ratios, right? And then the 200 pixel is saying which says flex basis is 200 pixel. It's saying this is the least width it can have, right? So I think that this is the 200 pixel here, right? That we are seeing that is actually like highlighted here, the one that is marked out in slanty dotted separated lines. So let's say this is dashed lines, right? So I made it 100% so that the base it always take 100% of the width, right? Is like the basis of it. But even if I think that if I say that the basics is actually 0, that it doesn't even matter, right? But what matters is that the problem with this making it 0 is that this can shrink to any length, right? See that it's shrinking, it doesn't can shrink anyway, and then it's not touching the nav. Let's say I make this nav to be flex grow 1, right? And then I say that the main has a flex basis of 0. As we are scrolling up, let's say, uh, oh, this is growing by 1, so the basis doesn't really matter anyways. Yes, but the thing I was trying to show is the fact that this can grow up to 0. Fuck, it doesn't matter anyways. Ah, sorry, I'm swearing again. But this was not actually the effect I wanted to show. Yeah, but let's keep going. Anyways, so we revert this flex grow on the nav, and then we'll move forward with this, right? Now that we have everything, so I've explained to you what flex shrink means and what flex grow and flex basis means. Basis is just like the least length you can take before the least accepted length for it, the minimum length, if you would think. So normally, if I want something to just take the whole remaining space, I normally set it this way. But the most important part is that you set this one here, the flex grow to be one, right? And then this one here, the flesh shrink, is also good, is also a very important value, because sometimes you want that particular value to not shrink at all. So you probably just remove the 0 here, make it 0 here, so that it doesn't ever shrink, basically, right? So if like this, the other things taking like spaces in the fraction in the screen, it would not shrink, basically. So this also works, right? But you would see that the important style that we need to set here is actually to make it take the whole remaining weight is actually flex grow to be 1. We'll make it take everything. But this doesn't always work perfectly as you'd want if you have multiple things that have flex on them. So that's why you would have the shrink and also like a basis, so that get it doesn't get less than that. So yeah, so let's keep moving. So if we go back here, we have this line perfectly, and we can say that the main should also align items center, right? I want everything to be centered at the center, centered at the center. Yeah. So let's look at our design and see if everything is centered at the center. So everything is kind of in the center-ish, right? And yeah, stop opening work things. Yeah, so this doesn't look bad. So making it at the center. And from our design, let's see. There's probably a gap between them. So probably just put a gap on this. But if you look at this also, is that you see that this main has display flags and also align item center, just like nav and UL does. So we can probably put the main here and remove this thing here from the main, right? So now it's still displayed flags because this compound selector captured it. So, and then remember, we wanted to put a gap. So put a gap like a 2rem, and gap is basically the space between the items, the flex items, which are basically these two sections of the image and one for the test. So there will be a gap between them. I think maybe the browser could show us this very well. So if you look at main, when we click on this, you can see the gap between them, right? This the center pink the center pink place with the slashed pink lines, the tiny one is the gap between them, right? So if you should, I think that if you should hover on the gap rule, you will see that it's highlighted, right? You can see the gap between them. So yeah, and then this looks good so far, right? Let's go back to our design. And if we look at this, everything has been laid out very nicely, right? Everything has been laid out very nicely. And then now we can say that we've achieved the layout. The layout looks good. What doesn't look good so far is the style, and in comparison with what they have on that particular design is not the same. And then we can put other things, or we can put them in place, right? We can probably start doing that. So, but that will be going over the scope of our talk on the layout, but we can do it. So I'll probably have to change this to light pink, the background of the body to, oh, light pink is very light. Aha. Okay, let me go to the browser and make it help, let's use the help of the browser to pick a nice lighter pink. So let's do something of this sort. Is this how hard it is to pick pink? Yes. Yes. So let's copy this hex code here. So this way, this is a cheat, or not like a cheat, but this is how to use the browser to help you. Like you can, when you click on this color here, you can move this around to change the colors, and then at the end you copy this color to put in your code. Right, that is very handy because you're getting like a visual feedback while you're trying that out. So now that has changed, and then we can also like make this pink lighter. According to our design, this is a lot lighter than what we have. And then for the main, what we do is change the pink to something, something just a little bit lighter. This, yeah, maybe this. So we'll copy this and we will paste it on our main. I think we have this background color here. Right. Someone left the chart. Yeah, okay. Anyways, let's continue. So this is looking just a lot better already, just based on the color, right? Oh, did I refresh? Aha. Okay, everything is still saved perfectly. So let's flex this, but okay, this still look a little bit too pinky, but we can keep going. And I know that probably some of you in your mind is going to say, how am I going to do this ripple effect here? I know that a couple of you have that particular thing in your mind, yeah, and you probably think it's impossible. It's not impossible. You can do it, and how you can do it is what is called CSS clip art, right? So with CSS clip part, we can clip um, components based on a particular part. Like part is normally it's come from SVG, which is for scalable vector graphics, which normally says you can draw curves with it from different lines basically. And normally this is normally the syntax you'd have, right? The path this way. This is normally how it is. Normally like mathematics to like show the regions and like the basically the coordinates where you're drawing your curve or where you're drawing some lines or polygons or things. You can use circles and ellipses and things like that, right? So and we also have generator for this because this is hard to it's hard to write in hand. You can actually write it by hand, but I wouldn't suggest that you do that. So you can say CSS, you can find like online generator that can fit your particular shape. And right now I'm going so far out of line from what I'm supposed to teach you, but I think that this is funny actually, and I'm not sure if they have what we're looking for actually. Yeah, and does this clipper doesn't actually help us draw what we want. And if I have a circle, I don't want to do a circle. Can I get I want a part. Oh come on, CSS clip part generator. Not clippy. CSS portal. Oh, come on, you guys are doing the same thing. Aren't you ashamed? Okay, I probably don't know what I'm looking for. Oh, online. Come on. Yeah, I want a curve. I want a curve. I want a part actually, not really a curve. And how can I do this? I don't want a triangle. Give me a part. Give me a part. What is going on? Is this how hard it is to do? Okay, okay. Okay, it's fine. Oh, come on. Yes, this looks quite close, but this is using polygon. I don't want a polygon. Why is no one using a path? Okay, this is the last one I'm going to check, and I promise you we'll stop going around for them. But then I think we can probably use a SVG online. So you find some online SVG, not viewer, but fuck it. Anyways, I think we'll make deal with something else. So let's say I have do we have a semicircle here? If we have a semicircle here, we can probably use that. But we could do something different for this. We just make it like look something similar. But with clip path using path, actually we can do those ripple thing, and I will try to get it working and send you guys tomorrow. Maybe that will be my take home for the weekend, right? To show you guys how that can be done with clip art. But anyways, I would continue on that side, and I could just probably what should I do to make up for that? It's fine. Let's leave that. Yeah, after I used a lot already. And then what we can do now is that we can put padding in the for the main, and let's do a padding of let's say 2 rems. Should shift the images to the side, and what we can do is that we say there is a class called image container which is inside the main. So we're targeting that by saying main, right? Container. Saying a main, then go into main and then find a class of main.container, and then we can style it. And there's not much we want to do about this. Basically, I think we could probably go get the image inside it and say that weight is 100%. But this image is actually like already like well sized by default, so we don't even need to change that. So this is going to look like it already does. So, but for the test, we can say image dot test container. I think we have test container there, and we can select the H3 there and say that the font size should be something around 3 rem. Let's see how it looks, and then now it goes big, and we can say that color is something like teal. Whoa, yeah. And this look like what we have. Oh, this was cyan. So let's do cyan. I'm not sure how to turn this. So this is some darker shade of cyan actually, and we can actually even do that here. Fix this here. Choose this here. Oh no! Why do you have to be so hard to please? Yeah, I'm going with this. I'm not going to kill myself for it. But let's bump this up by a bit, 3.5 rem. And this is looking good. And if we say that this is, maybe make this italics, font style is italic. And this would bend a little bit. And this is looking not close, but looking close, yeah. And yeah, also it's good to actually like notice that this text and the image have like almost like 50-50 share of the page. And since this main is displayed flex, we can ensure that both of them take 50-50 of the page. So let's do that. So now we can do, we can just copy this and target just directly the image container itself and say that it has a flex group of 1, right? And do the same thing for this, right? And we can just even specify flex one, which means it will grow and shrink by one. So we can do this for both of them, right? And by default, both of them should take the same sizes uh, in there, right? We would also say that they should not shrink. I'm not sure if we should do that, but what happens if we don't say that they don't shrink is that one that already have like a higher width would tend to like take more width than the other. But I think this is decent enough. We could also say, okay, if we look at them now, the flex on Chrome now, we see that they are evenly divided. So they're taking both sides, so which is good. Let's shift this a little bit and see. So both of them are taking half of the weight, which is good. We don't need to do anything more, right? So yeah, this looks good so far. Yeah, and if I'm still on time, I'm on track of time. Not so much, but yeah. So we were able to do this, and we can easily just go to our nav and style that to just look nice. And then what we can do here is